It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of YAVAPAI Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in YAVAPAI County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Website for you, sedonaaz.gov/climate. We are talking about the climate action plan that is being put together by the city. Started last year in 2019, and they're taking public feedback right now. There is a survey online. It ends on June 18th, and we're going to talk to McKenzie here in just a second and find out just what a sustainability coordinator is. Are you with me, McKenzie?
I am. It's good to see you, Paul.
Hello. Let's start there. Let's start right there, because I don't think I've ever talked to somebody who has your job. And it's always interesting to find out what people's jobs are. So what is a sustainability coordinator, if you would?
That's a great question. So about 2 years ago, I was hired by the city of Sedona and to be the first sustainability coordinator and to design our city sustainability program. And this is because we've repeatedly heard from residents that our natural environment is the reason that people choose to live in Sedona and the Verde Valley. And obviously that's something that people are really passionate about protecting. And so council has made environmental sustainability a priority, and the community has repeatedly said it was. So I was hired to evaluate the city from a sustainability perspective. And that means looking at how much water are we using? What does our recycling look like? How much energy are we consuming? Things like that. So essentially taking a holistic approach and looking at all city operations and trying to figure out how can we reduce our impact and support a healthier community. So in the first year, we worked on our municipal sustainability plan, and we got people from across departments, everyone from the police department to public works and maintenance to community development, all sorts of folks in the room to discuss everything from our city vehicles and how can we make our city fleet more sustainable, to buildings, to reducing herbicides and pesticides in our city parks. And so essentially, when we think about what a sustainability coordinator does, it's trying to figure out those sorts of things. How can we reduce our impact? How can we come up with a plan that tracks data like our water consumption and our energy consumption to reduce that impact over time? And then the second piece is, how do we work with the community to support the community in doing those things as well? So how do we make sure that the community has the right infrastructure to make decisions that are good for the environment? So can they easily ride their bike or walk or take the bus, things like that? Is it easy for them to recycle? Is the educational material clear? Things like that. So that's kind of the long answer on what a sustainability coordinator does.
That's quite a job to have to cover all those different bases. And I was thinking light pollution as well. And you mentioned it, we talked about it before the show too, that the residents are the ones that have been asking for this. But during the pandemic, when we had the shutdown, we saw just how quiet Sedona got. And if there's smog issues in Sedona, if for some reason Oak Creek Canyon were to burn to the ground and all the trees gone, if the water was filthy dirty, you've got no sustainability in Sedona anymore. There's just no reason to go there. So those are things that you're all looking at, right? I mean,
certainly,
tourism,
yeah.
that's why people come there.
Right, exactly. And so there's two different elements there, and we're lucky that we have an economic development director that's focused. I don't know if you've talked to Molly Spangler yet, but she, did an economic diversification plan for the community and just finished that a few months ago. And that's really focused on how do we diversify our economy so that we're not as reliant on tourism, but also how do we support industries that allow us to be more resilient? Because frankly, people don't want to come when it's really smoky or if there's flood events or things like that. And Paul, I can't hear you right now or see you.
8th, and that was, of course, gone. Now there's one on Tuesday, June 9th, which is today. So that one is going to be from 10 to 11:15 a.m. So there's that. And then Thursday, there's a third one coming up on June 11th. It's going to be from 5:30 to 6:45. So we'll have that one as well that people can chime in and talk on. We'll get McKenzie back with us in just a moment. We're having some technical difficulties right now, but so we've got that. And then there's also an online survey. So welcome back, McKenzie. I was just telling everybody that you're doing these virtual open houses, and that you had one on Monday, June 8th, which is already taking place, so it's too late for that one. There's one today, Tuesday, June 9th, and it's going to be from 10 to 11:15 a.m. And then there's one Thursday, June 11th, from 5:30 to 6:45 p.m. How did the first one go on Monday for you?
I thought that it went really well. You know, we had been scheduled to do our first in-person open house on April 8th. And obviously that didn't make sense because of COVID-19. And so we've had to move the process virtually. And while we obviously would love to get to talk to people about these sort of things in person, we're just adapting like everybody else. And we really appreciate that people are taking time during challenging times, frankly, to participate in civic engagement and to, share their thoughts on the Sedona that they want to see in the future.
I know it wasn't like we're doing right now where it's voice to voice and face to face, but people were it was send in your questions and then you were answering the questions as right? Is that how you're handling them?
Yes, we used the full time with questions. So people had a lot of really great questions. It was neat to see what people are thinking about. So we're using these first round of open houses to essentially get a better understanding of how people feel about climate change and what their concerns are. And then we'll be doing another round of open houses, virtual, most likely open houses in August and September, to really narrow down actions. So our people focus more on bicycle and pedestrian access or renewable energy, those sorts of things.
What was some of the big questions from Monday? Was there any particular one that really stood out that seemed to be kind of universal?
There are a lot of questions about kind of the projections for the Verde Valley. We had partnered with Cleanest, which is the climate assessment for the Southwest, and they're a NOAA group out of the federal government. And they developed a over 50-page document for us, a climate profile for the Verde Valley that talks about the various temperature increases we're going to see over the next 40 years, and also projections for wildfires and things like that. So there were a lot of questions around, everything from drought to wildfires and what the different projections are for our region. And then we also hear things from people about, electric vehicles, and that sort of thing can seem really unattainable for people. But, the electric vehicle market is changing dramatically and becoming significantly more accessible.
Sure.
And so, when we look at the city's role, we're trying to figure out how we can make sure that there's public charging infrastructure to make that more affordable for people to make those healthy transitions.
Okay. All right. Let's take our first break. Okay. Website for you, sedonaaz.gov/climate. sedonaaz.gov/climate. We're talking to Sedona Sustainability Coordinator McKenzie Jones. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Award-winning Soundbites Grill is an entertainment restaurant located in Uptown Sedona at the Hyatt Pinion Point Resort. Open for lunch and dinner, featuring fresh fish, all-natural hand-cut beef, even a full vegan menu. Family friendly, open 11:30 to 9. Late dining on Friday and Saturday. Soundbites Grill has some of the best views of the Sedona Red Rocks. Offers world-class entertainment, food, fun, and music.
Are you struggling to overcome an addiction, depression, insomnia, or a weight problem? Then it's time for you to meet with Dr. Elaine Kissel, award-winning, world-renowned hypnotherapist, author, and mind trainer. Now you can get her help from the privacy and comfort of your own home. Let Elaine Kissel create a personalized hypnotherapy plan to overcome your problem forever. Call 844-4KISSEL now for a discounted evaluation appointment. That's 844-4KISSEL.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking with Sedona Sustainability Coordinator McKenzie Jones today. SedonaAZ.gov/climate is the website you're going to want to go to find out more about their climate action plan that they've been working on for a little more than a year now. And it looks like it's going to be going to the council, hopefully a final plan by, if I'm reading this right, late fall 2020. So we're talking about later this year. McKenzie, welcome back.
Thanks.
We have a survey that is ending on June 18th. Before we get into that, though, you talked about NOAA gave you a 50-page report. Can you give us some of the projections that they're seeing for Sedona Verde Valley in the next 40 years? Talk about those a little bit.
Right, definitely. So we have seen that it's getting warmer. And there's different projections based on different emission scenarios. So if we keep emitting at the same rate, different greenhouse gas emissions, then we have what looks like about an 8 to 10 degree increase in the Verde Valley by the end of the century. So just to help people kind of put that in context, 8 to 10 degrees may not seem that much, but that's the difference between now and the last ice age from an average temperature perspective. So
wow.
It can have significant, it can have a pretty significant impact. And I think it definitely can be more noticeable in colder communities like Flagstaff, where you're, say, getting rain instead of snow. Whereas in Sedona, it might just mean less cold mornings. But those increases actually end up resulting in some important changes. So even if our precipitation doesn't change at all, we still are now the water in the air is going to evaporate at a higher rate because of the temperature. And so that means that we're going to be significantly more prone to drought and wildfire, pest infestations, things like that. So we've also seen that our precipitation, while we're going to have the same, the model is that we'll have about the same precipitation throughout the whole year, it's going to happen in more extreme weather events. So storms will end up having higher wind speeds with significantly more rain in them, and they're just going to be fewer or further apart from each other, essentially. So those are some challenging projections. And I mean, everything, if you think about the way drought impacts our agriculture or viticulture, heat changes the way that wine tastes, wine grape tastes, things like that. So these are things that can impact the Verde Valley in many different ways.
I thought it was interesting when we had our 2-week lockdown, how much things changed in the world that we were seeing happen. Air quality was getting better. I think Venice mentioned that they had jellyfish in the canals, which had not been seen in many, many, many years, and just how fast the world was able to bounce back when we weren't having an impact on it quite so much, when we were all at home, just not driving and everything else. I thought that was pretty interesting. Did you guys take note of that as well? And I'm sure that the NOAA did as well.
Well, I think it's always interesting to see what happens when everybody decides to do something at once. Like, I think one of the things that we hear from people a lot of the time is that my actions don't matter. Why Sedona's so little? Why would we do this? That sort of thing. And really, one of the takeaways, one of the positive takeaways from COVID-19 was just, this is what happens when collective action occurs, right? When a bunch of people choose to make a decision at once, they're remarkably powerful, and especially when it's a coordinated decision. So I'm hesitant to kind of jump on the when nobody drives and things like that, our air quality improves, and it's certainly true. When we think about climate change, we don't think that it needs to be accompanied by massive unemployment or any of those issues, right? So I know this has been a really traumatic and difficult time for a lot of people, and I think that we could definitely continue to have a healthy economy while also transitioning to a more sustainable future. But yes, it's true. It definitely, there's a lot of things that have come out of the last few months that have been really remarkably interesting.
Now, although you've got these virtual open houses going on, you do want people to come in and do the survey as well. You would like to see that. If they can't do the open house, they should do the survey. But if they are doing the open house, you want everybody to come in and do the survey.
Right, exactly. So the survey is a little bit more in depth. It takes between 5 and 10 minutes to fill out. And the virtual open houses are there more if people are interested in learning more about what we're working on. I'm going to be doing about a 20-minute to half-hour presentation at the beginning about those projected changes for our region and about the climate action plan. And then we did about a 45-minute long question and answer session. So that's more of if people are interested in engaging and getting into the nitty gritty on different things, then that's what the virtual open houses are for. Whereas the survey is really your opinions on what you'd like to see, what you think the city should be investing in, that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. Well, the pandemic and the lockdown for 2 weeks, I guess, has probably showed you economically what it can do to Sedona in just a quick heartbeat. It's shown us that around the world. You mentioned that you're also, the slide fire is something that comes up in your presentation as well. The slide fire from, I'm going to say 2017, 2016? Slide fire even older than that, isn't it? 2014, yeah, time flies.
I know.
It flies way too fast. But the slide fire is something in Oak Creek Canyon. I remember when that happened, it was like, wow, Oak Creek Canyon's on fire. That is just absolutely devastating.
Right, and that's one of the things that we actually, in our research, so from starting back in August of 2019, we started working on, with CLEMAS and the NOAA group on the climate profile, but we also started working on our greenhouse gas inventory and researching various vulnerabilities for our community. And one of the things that we found was that the Arizona Republic had done an assessment of 500 towns in the West after the deadly wildfire in Paradise, California. And they analyzed communities on everything from, their ingress and egress to the percentage of older folks in their community to the housing stock and how vulnerable it was. And Sedona is at a significantly higher risk of a deadly wildfire than Paradise, California was. So the slide fire really was a remarkable example of how things can go terribly wrong really quickly. And we're very lucky that we had the firefighters and the support that went into protecting both our community but also the environment there. But yeah, I mean, I think we see catastrophic wildfire, and then after that we see flooding and the way it impacts Oak Creek as well. So there's definitely a lot of risks that we're seeing in our future if we don't take precautions.
All right, let's take our next break. Sedona Sustainability Coordinator McKenzie Jones is in studio with us today. SedonaAZ.gov/climate is the website you want to go to. They've got a virtual open house today, June 9th from 10 to 11:15 a.m. Go to the site. You can find out more on that. And there's another one coming up on Thursday, June 11th from 5:30 to 6:45 p.m. This is countywide. Stick around. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Hi, this is Greg at Verde Solar Power. You know, Arizona has lots of clean, renewable sunshine, and we want to help you take advantage of it with our quality solar installations, and we offer to beat any written offer on a residential solar electric system. So bring us your electric bill and let us show you how solar power will save you money. We're located conveniently here in the Verde Valley and are dedicated to helping the valley go solar. So remember, the energy solution comes up every morning.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left in the program. A lot of information to pass on to you real quick. Hopefully you're all ready for it. Sedona Sustainability Coordinator McKenzie Jones is our guest today. We're talking about the climate action plan that's being put together by the city of Sedona. The survey ends on June 18th. There is a virtual open house today, Tuesday, June 9th from 10 to 11:15 a.m. And there's another one coming up on Thursday, if you can't do this one, on Thursday, June 11th from 5:30 to 6:45 p.m. You can get to the information on how to participate on that if you go to sedonaaz.gov/climate. In addition, there is a survey you'll find there too, which McKenzie just said takes about 5 to 10 minutes to do. That survey ends on June 18th. You can also email McKenzie your ideas, thoughts, whatever it may be, to mjones@sedonaaz.gov. Welcome back, McKenzie. We've got just maybe a minute or two left of the program. Anything else we want to get out to the public right now? We definitely, after June 18th is over, you'll still take comments. There's still time, right?
Definitely. So we'll be doing a second round of surveys at that point to focus on actions. So in July and August, we'll be trying to work with the community to figure out what the specific actions are that they're interested in to reduce Sedona's impact and to make us more resilient to extreme weather events. So there'll be opportunities. We'll also do more virtual open houses or physically distanced ones. We haven't figured out exactly the details in August as well.
But it looks like the council would like to have this finished up by the end of this year and get it wrapped up and have a plan in place.
That's right. So our goal is to have it wrapped up by the end of the year. We definitely are have had to shift our schedule a bit related to COVID, but we're working with it and adapting just like everybody else. So we encourage you to adapt with us and check out our virtual engagement process.
It's been a challenge, hasn't it? Been a bit of a challenge this year. 2020 has been definitely a challenge. That's for sure. All right, let me go through all that information again, okay, McKenzie? It's sedonaaz.gov/climate. That's the site you want to go to, and then all this information is going to be there for you. Again, the June 18th is the initial cutoff right now for information that's going to go into, is it a draft plan? Like the draft final plan is what this will be, and then folks will come back and talk more about that one. Okay.
Yep, in the fall, we'll bring an actual draft plan to the community for evaluation and for everyone to share their opinions on it then.
And if they want to, they can email you at mjones@sedonaaz.gov, mjones@sedonaaz.gov. that is all we have time for. Thank you for joining me on my first one of these to do, that's for sure. But I appreciate your time, and best of luck with the climate action plan. Keep me informed. Have Lauren keep sending all the information to me. I appreciate it very much. That is today's Countywide. As always, we thank you so much for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.